Now that you've downloaded your website planning workbook, if you could open it up and just get yourself comfortable, get a note paper and a pen just in case you need to take notes as we're going through this video, but you can always come back and rewatch it as well. So when you open up the workbook, and this is the exact same workbook, the first workbook that we work through with our client, and this gets us all really clear on a number of elements that are really important and fundamental to planning your website. As you can see here, there is a contents area and it goes through the different areas there, right through from a welcome from us right through to the final checklist. So if we just start working through the workbook, the welcome from us is there on this page, and then moving forward, once you've read through that, then we go over an introduction to a website strategy here for you. The first question we ask is, let's start with a question: how important is your website to your brand? The answer, whether or not you realize, is varies. This is why we take the time to actually really dig right into website and website strategy and the purpose of your website. So if you have a read through this and then keep moving forward, so then you'll get into an area called Tell Us About You. Now in this area, what you're doing is you're actually putting down on paper the information that you'll need for the development of your website. So it goes through a number of things, including your business details, right through from your business name, your logo, your slogan, your main contact name, and this is important information for the Contact Us page and for the footer and that on your website, right through to your domain URL. Then we talk about what industry you're in, what trading hours, if you have trading hours. If you don't have trading hours, just put not applicable there. And then we ask you to describe what your organisation or product does and the target audience. And the reason we do this is to start really understanding and, get you thinking about, what is your actual target audience if you're not 100% clear on that. And even if you think you are, it's good to revisit this and rethink this. And that helps to inform your developer too on the style of website theme that you might be actually looking for. Then we go through, where are your offices, shops located, and are you on Google Maps? Now the reason we ask that is if you're not on Google Maps and you have an office, it's really good to get listed on Google Maps, because then you can put that on your website and it does help with your SEO as well. Then we go through, and you'll see we've got little tips right throughout this whole workbook, so have a good read of those. Then we go into, what is your overall goal for your website? Is your website there to attract inquiries? Like, for example, are you a dentist and you want to get online bookings? Do you want people to phone your offices or your practices? If you're a coach or a consultant, is it about the ultimate or the lead point for your first contact, for them to jump onto a strategy call or connect with you in some way? Is it for lead generation? Do you want them to actually opt into something, whether it be a newsletter or a free report or a video series or whatever, similar to what we've done here, to actually then build an audience that are interested in what you've got to offer in your own business? Then we go through, what values should your website communicate? What we need to do is just get you to sort of indicate where you sort of think your website and your business sits in relation to this. Don't overthink this, just be very intuitive, and what comes to mind first is usually the best response. So just go through here and just mark through, whether it's feminine, young, luxury, modern, loud, simple, subtle, right through to the values, which are masculine, mature, economical, classic, quite complex and obvious. So if you just go through that process there, that really helps with thinking about the style of your website. Do you have any websites that you like? Really good and important information. So if, for example, you've seen a website or a couple of websites that you think are, really appeal to you, and for whatever reason that is, if you pop them in there or put them into that box there, then your developer can have a look at those. Or if you end up doing a website with us, then we can have a look at those and we discuss those more with you as well. Because often what looks good does not always mean that it will convert well. So it's really important to get the balance right there. And then we suggest to you, have a look around Theme Forest, and they're a great provider of themes that you can take and you can customize. So have a look there to see if there's anything that really appeals to you. For example, you're in the industry of selling toys, educational toys, then have a look on Theme Forest for websites that are particularly made for toys. and for commercial, for e-commerce and things like that. So that's a great website to have a look around as well to get some initial ideas. Then we've just got an area there for what else would you like to share with us. So just put some information in there and that'll just help your developer get a little bit more information as well. Then we go into the uniqueness of your brand. And this is where we get you thinking about what makes your brand unique. Now, normally we would go through this whole process with one of our clients on the calls, the planning calls, as we are working towards doing their website with them. But just work through this and think about, why people would buy from your brand, what makes you stand out from your competitors, and then just go through and tick what we call the USPs, your unique selling propositions. That's all about what makes your brand unique in the marketplace. Is it that you've got the cheapest prices, you offer the best services, you've got really high quality, you've got a rewards program, you offer free shipping? Is it about the values and the guarantees and your ethics? Is that what really appeals to people? Is it because you give away a lot of free resources? Is it because you've got the largest range in an e-commerce store? Let's say, for example, window dressings or window furnishings. Depending on what your business is, really think about what your USP is. And I mean, you might tick a few of these, so that's fine. And then we'll move on to your target audience of your brand. And there we talk about, who are the visitors, who are the target market that you're wanting to attract to your website. And this is really important so that when you do attract the right prospect to your website, there's not inconsistency there, that it's very clear. So the example we give here is, your brand is traditional, for example, an accountancy firm, but your website and content is super high-tech, modern and colourful. Now, that probably doesn't match with what a person would be looking for in an accountant. They want something that's very professional, very clean, really gets to the salient or the key point of the services that they're wanting and the ethics, the values around an accountancy firm, more so than really colourful images and things like that you may see, for example, on an e-commerce toy site. So we need to be very clear about the target audience because this helps to inform the type of design that you would be doing based on what your target market would be looking for and responding to. So the first thing we get you to do is to put down a list of your most recent 25 clients below. Now, if you're a startup, if you're a new business and you don't have 25 clients, that's fine. Just put down the ones that you do have, even if it's one or two. And when you have a conversation with your developer around that, it gets you thinking about the type of design you would be looking for, the type of avatar or the type of prospect you would be wanting to attract. And based on that, what you're going to do is you're going to, for each client on a separate piece of paper, and there is work involved in this to get this right, you're going to put their age, their gender, their profession, their industry, their family status, their income, their location, their hobbies and their interests, because you're going to start to see like groupings here. Perhaps it's they're in the same industry, perhaps they're in the same gender, perhaps they're in the same demographic age bracket, perhaps they're in a certain level of income earning. You're going to see that starting to trend through the data. Now, once again, if you don't have a lot of clients, then think about who is your ideal client, where are they sitting in relation to this, and then just write down the 5 most common points down here that you should be able to, or you will see that attracts a client to your brand. So if they're a high income earner, earn over 100K, if they're a double income family, they're professionals, if they're located just in a specific geographical area, then put that down in here. Say, for example, you're an e-commerce store that only provide delivery to a certain range, then that would be an important point to put down in here because this is very much going to inform the information on your website. And then we get you to think about future customers and list 5 real people or real businesses you think would be your ideal clients. So even if you're not quite there now, think about the future because your website should be built and developed around that type of client and what you're trying to attract, what you want to attract to your business. Then you go through and list the best possible niches you can serve. For example, is there a specific target industry that you would like to work with based on do they have money, easiest to reach, enjoyable to work with, things like that. And so, for example, your first ideal niche to focus on would be, for example, if you're an investment or a financial expert, and you just want to work on clients that really want to maximize and get the most out of restructuring their finances, then what you're going to be looking at, you're going to be looking at people that maybe, they could be in business that want to restructure and get, more run for their dollar out of their business by restructuring and refinancing. If you're an e-commerce store that does toys, for example, you might be wanting to focus on the teacher market that will be buying toys for their classrooms and things like that. So this is the type of thing that we're sort of looking for here. If you're selling window furnishings, then you might be looking at particularly working on body corporates or things like that to start with. So really start thinking about the type of niche you really want to go after and who would be your ideal target market to go after initially, and because this will all, as I said, help to inform your website. And then once again, we go through all the demographics around then. Now we need you to list the 3 biggest concerns of your client. And I mean, it's just a matter of wash, rinse, repeat. So if you've got 5 prospects, ideal clients that you're working with or in a particular target market, then do this for each of the individual ones, because it's going to help to really inform and show you some trends that are coming out. What I need you to do now is list 3 reasons why this person wouldn't buy from you. So this is about getting past the objections on the website. Say, for example, if a person wouldn't buy from you because you didn't have the ability for them to pay online, then it's getting past that objection and thinking about the design of your website as well. But it also helps to inform your copy. When you're thinking about the objections in your content and your copy, then you will need to address that and get rid of those fears and concerns for your potential client. Then what you do is complete the following sentence about your target audience: the location, the age, the budget, the habits, the language, internet ability, whether they're really good, they're going to be accessing the web. If they're not going to be accessing the web, then there's no point in building a website. But if they're, very IT savvy, then you can get quite complex with what you're providing on your website. And where does this person spend their time online? This helps you to look at who else has also got your clients at the moment. And this will really come into play with your marketing later on once you've got your website up and running. And all this just helps you to understand and get inside the head of your actual client and your prospect. And then we just want you to describe your target audience in 3 sentences. For example, are they professional women that are divorce lawyers in the Sydney geographical area of the inner suburbs that earn over $100,000 a year that are in a relationship? So, really get specific around that without getting too specific and narrowing your niche market down too far. So really think about niching, but not where you end up going down a microcosm hole. Then we talk about your lead generation strategy, and this is really important on your website, and this is about how you're going to be attracting leads. Email marketing is so powerful, and it's really important that you're actually staying connected with your potential target market and your prospects. So when someone visits your website, they're just not on your website and they're gone, never to be seen again. Offer something of really high value on there that will get them to actually then leave their details, so then you can continue the relationship building and the communication with that particular target market. Let's say, for example, you're a financial advisor. The likelihood of someone visiting your website and contacting you straight away to get advice is fairly minimal. It's a high-end area that, unless someone's really desperate, and we work on the 97, what we call the 97 3% rule, 3% of people landing on your website in that particular market are probably ready to talk to you. 97% probably aren't. They're going to find out a little bit more about you. They're going to look around, things like that. So if you can offer something of high value there, such as the 7 biggest mistakes people can make in planning for retirement, just for example, then you're enticing them to leave their details. And then you can continue the relationship and send them superannuation advice or market updates and things like that. So they're getting to know you. Even if they're not ready here right now today, when they land on your website, you'll be top of mind with them because of the relationship and the communication you're having with them. Then they're probably ready to take that next step and have some direct communication with you and pick up the phone and make a call. So there's a whole range of things depending what, target market you're in, whether that be a free webinar, if you're a coach or consultant, whatever that is, a free strategy call. So really think about a high value lead magnet, and we'd recommend that over time that you have a look at even surveying your market and working out what are the best lead magnets or free offers I can make to my target market, and offer a few of these on your website, not just one, and then split test them and see what converts the best. And then we look at, your site promotions, and this is to get you thinking about how you're going to market to your target market once your website's built. And this just helps you to think forward with your marketing strategy and your planning, whether that's going to be through, social media avenues, pay-per-click directory listings, whether you're going to go out to JV partners. You're going to be doing hopefully some email marketing, because it's critical for any business these days to be getting people to opt into a database, and then letting your email marketing, your newsletters or whatever do the heavy lifting for you, your webinars, your videos, things like that. You can also be thinking about direct mail if that's suitable for your business as well. And then once again, we get thinking about, the paid site promotions that you can do. Are you going to be looking at social media, pay-per-click, Google AdWords? Are you going to be doing events? You're going to be doing webinars? Do you want banner ads on particular sites where your prospects are going? Are you going to be giving away printed material? Are you going to be doing radio or TV? So think about on and offline here. And while you're thinking, well, wow, this is about my website, why are we talking about marketing? It's really important to be, really think about the end in mind here. So everything comes together and it's consistent. So let's say, for example, if you are going to be doing events and be doing pay-per-click later on, make sure you've got an events page on your website. If you're going to be doing webinars, make sure you've got a webinars page or, information on your website available for that. So you're not coming back later on and having to rethink and redo. And then we go down through to the structure, and this is where we really start getting the road with some rubber here. So just go through here and just choose the actual pages that you want. The main menu could be an About Us, for example, and then your drop down might be the team or our shop, things like that. So think about that, and this just helps you to plan out your site structure. So, you'll have we've given you example here, home, About Us, services, solutions, blog, event. Then you can have the drop downs under that. You could have events and you might have webinars underneath that. Resources, you can have resources and you can have ebook downloads, white papers, things like that. It could be video courses, free video courses, and then the contact us page, of course. So that just gives you an idea about the type of site structure that you should be thinking about. If, of course, you've got a shop, then you'll want a shop page with payment gateways and e-commerce and product pages as well, and the ability for people to buy while they're on your site. So have a think about that. If, have a look around. If you like someone else's site structure but don't know how to describe it, tell us the website you love below. So just pop in the URLs there, and then that's really going to help your developer as well. And if you're thinking you might want to add pages in the future, tell us about it here. Tell us up front. So say, for example, you're not ready to put a membership site on the back end of it, but you'd like to be able to do that. If you're not ready to put an e-commerce product website on it, but you'd like to be able to do that down the track, then put it here, because this will very much inform the type of theme. You want to make sure that the theme that is customized, that your website is built on, has the capability for those add-ons later on, and you're not going to be having to redo the whole site because it doesn't have the functionality to add on e-commerce, or it doesn't have the functionality to add on a membership site. So all really important stuff, and that will save you a lot of money and heartache down the track. Then we start thinking about the content. And this is where we're talking about the content for your homepage, for example, the copy, how it's going to look, how it's going to be laid out, the imagery. And this is where the next video, we will walk you through the process of actually pulling that all together. So this first workbook is really big picture, even though we are digging into target market and that here, but it's big picture and starting to think. And then we're going to get into the actual building. So it's like Lego in the second workbook, where we start actually putting the pieces together, and you get an idea and a feel for what your website's going to look like on paper. And just go through and do this for every page. So if you've got an events page, do that for your events page, the same as you would have done here for your home page, the same as you do for your contact us page, your blog page, the contact us details. And then we go through, you'll need to put in all your social media accounts there for your icons and things like that. Page, and we've just laid the workbook out so you can put the page title here. So once you've got your site structure, then just go through each of your pages in your site structure, whether that be a main menu such as About Us, and then for each of your sub pages such as Our Team, things like that. And do your written content for each individual page progressively as you go through. If you need more space, just print this off, print additional pages off, or take this and just start adding different pages and do them in a Word document and attach it to the document for your web developer, because you may not have a space for each particular page depending on how much content is on each page. And then what you've got here at the end is your online passwords. So you're nearly there once you've got to this stage, which is really good. You've done a lot of the work, a lot of the hard work and the heavy lifting. So what your website developer will need here will be your hosting username and your password, where you currently have your website registered, your domain name registered, and your website hosted. Now, if you don't already have this, just make sure you're picking a really good hosting provider that has really good backup service, really good security on the servers. If you're here in Australia, please do not have your website hosted overseas. Have it done here in Australia, simply because this can slow down load times if your website is being hosted and their servers are coming out of the US or something like that. So it really just affects load time, which can affect how long people will wait to get onto your site and conversion. Then if you've got a current website, you know, your WordPress username and password, and your cPanel username and password. Now, if you're not sure, if I'm talking information here such as cPanel and that you just don't understand, you don't get that right now, don't worry about it. Once you start talking to your developer, then, or if you've got any questions, just let us know. We'll help you to understand these concepts. But if you're talking to your developer, they'll explain all this for you. One of the key things we really do recommend that you purchase an SSL certificate for your website. And this helps with the credibility and security, so then you can put down that it is a trusted site and you can put the logo on your website. And what this means is it just enhances security, but if you've got e-commerce, for example, and you've got an SSL certificate, it encrypts all the information on the web. You know, it keeps people's information safe and secure, which we can't be over vigilant about these days. And look, you can usually get a good SSL certificate for around about $99 Australian. So there's no need to spend hundreds of dollars on one. And then just think about like your footer section, and you'll do more of this in the second workbook when we start building out your actual website and talking about that. But think about, you know, do you want a privacy statement? Are there terms of use? Is there a disclaimer that needs to be there? And we encourage you to put a privacy statement on every website, terms of use on every website, and disclaimer. And if you're in a, you know, a service industry such as financial advisors, there'll be specific disclaimers and footers and that you're going to want to include on your website for professional reasons. And then we go through a final checklist for you, so you've got that there. You know, you've got your written content, you've got your best promotional photographs, so make sure the images are really high resolution images, otherwise they're just going to look washed out and terrible on your website. Make sure you're buying good quality stock photos if that's what you're doing, and that you've got a logo that is, you know, a high resolution and editable in either Adobe Illustrator or, you know, Photoshop, that you've got the source files for those. Any videos, things like that, and that you can provide your YouTube or Vimeo, wherever you're hosting them. If that's where you're hosting them, that you've got all that content there for your website developer. Any PDF documents or downloads there for your lead magnets. And this is where you'll want to think about your automation, your what we call your CRM system as well. So for your autoresponders for your emails, whether that be through somewhere like Aweber or MailChimp, we use Infusionsoft. There's so many of them out there these days. It really depends on the type of business you have and the power of a CRM that you're going to be needing in your business. So once again, if you've got any questions about that, happy to talk to you and, you know, recommend and talk through what you will be needing for your business, not only now but in the future. And pretty much that's it. That's the whole workbook for you. So go back to the beginning, grab a cool drink, find some headspace and some time, and just start working through this first website workbook. And then we look forward to seeing you in the next video. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate to send us an email or give us a call. And thanks for taking the time to watch this video.